The Bhagavad Gita is a celebration of life. Somewhere down the line, we've forgotten the ability to celebrate, the ability to enjoy, the ability to relish life. And we have lost the appetite for life. So, the Gita gives all this back to us. And yet, the common perception of the Gita, common perception of Vedanta is that it takes away our enjoyment. What a tragedy. It's because of this misunderstanding that we are denying ourselves access to this most valuable knowledge which tells us how to celebrate life every moment, for which we need to understand who is the kind of person who really enjoys life. And in the 3rd chapter of the Gita, he tells us, he puts it poetically. He says a tamasic person is a person who wants to enjoy the fruits of others' labors. He helps himself to what the system provides him without so much as a thought of contributing back or repaying. Such a person is a tamasic person. He is a thief, says Krishna. And even then we don't get the message. So when you first read this portion, you say, oh, but I'm not a thief. I don't take things which are not mine. But when you question, when you think about it, you come to the horrifying conclusion that yes, I belong to this category a lot of the times. Because we enjoy the fruits of others' labor without so much as a thought of how are things going on? How is it that this benefit is provided for me? For instance, we have roads to drive on. We have law and order. We have so many things that this society, this nation, our family, nature, all of these things provide us. Do we so much as even recognize it? As we said on the first day, we've got so brainwashed into giving value only to those things that we pay for, not understanding that the best things in life come for free. And so whenever anything comes for free, there is an added obligation on you to think and repay. At least the thought must be there. But no, we are all wanting things free. One who takes benefit of things without repaying is a thief, says Krishna. The second category, rajasic. Most of us belong to this category. He says, cooks but eats sin. Imagine cooking the most exotic dishes, and what do you eat? Sin. Sin means mental agitation, torment. Many of us belong to this category. Everywhere you go in the world, you find people who have a lot of assets, a lot of resources, they go on fancy vacations to exotic locations. But where is the enjoyment? Wherever they go, they are tormented. And as it is, they were agitated. Now technology has multiplied their agitation. You know how? Because wherever you go, you have a cell phone that's bothering you. Wherever you go, and then you had laptops, and now there's the BlackBerry which haunts you. So all your problems follow you wherever you go. Rajasic person cooks, puts in a lot of effort, works very hard, but there's no enjoyment. Whereas a sattvic person, what a terminology he uses. He says he enjoys the fruit of yajna, sacrifice. A sattvic person is one whose focus is not on enjoyment. His focus is on repayment. His focus is on giving. His focus is on working in a spirit of service and sacrifice. And whatever be the fruit of that yajna, he enjoys it thoroughly. That fruit is always sweet. It's always successful. It's always peaceful and happy. Therefore it is that when you go to any puja or religious ceremony, when the prasad is distributed, it is always sweet. Have you ever gone to a puja where the prasad is bitter? Prasad is the fruit of sacrifice. The fruit of sacrifice is always sweet. In spite of all that, we don't get the message. The fruit of selfishness is always bitter. So repayment. Who must you repay to? In order of preference, from the lower to the higher, is your first obligation is to your family. Like we saw the other day, Nachiketas, when he went to Lord Yama and he was given 3 boons. Here is Nachiketas who said, my first obligation is to my family. My father was disturbed when I came. Please appease his agitation. Tathastu, said Lord Yama. Second obligation is to society. He says, teach me this art of contributing to society. Teach me fire sacrifice. Fire sacrifice is the ability to add value to society. And fire represents that. And Yama taught him, and he did it so magnificently that he rewarded him. He said, from now onwards, forever, Nachiketas, your name will be associated with sacrifice. And the third obligation is to yourself. To God means yourself. He says, teach me Brahma Vidya. We are oblivious of all this. Even obligation to family we don't want. Today, young people, the moment you speak to them about obligation, they say, oh no, but I want my freedom. What do they mean by freedom? I don't want any obligations. That's what they mean. And here is a society that survived the ravages of time because of the accent on obligation. So we have to make this shift from wanting freebies in life. Remember one thing, nothing in life comes for free. It may appear to be there for free. So when the manufacturers and marketers offer things for free, they're not really giving you anything for free. You know that, right? They're just playing on your psychology. So whenever anyone gives you something, offers you something free, understand that there is something there. Dal mein kuch kala hai. But if you fall for it, then you pay for it. So move from freebies to what is known as, you must always make advance payments in life. Always pay in advance so that then you're free. And here we are doing the other way around. Our debt is increasing. And so that's the thing. So there are 3 kinds of actions. And these actions are niyatam karma, which are obligatory duties, kamya karma, desire-ridden activities, and nishiddha karma, which is prohibited actions. So let's see how it goes. Niyatam karma, every one of us, the moment you're born, there are obligations attached to it, to your life, to your situation. And if throughout your life your focus is on obligation, you set aside desire. We all have desires. You're constantly giving preference to your obligation in favor of your desire. Your desire takes next step, next priority. And then the performance of the obligation. See, today obligation is associated with drudgery. The moment you say obligations, but then you begin to relish the performance of obligation. You find pleasure in obligatory duty. You find fulfillment in the performance of your duties. And then kamya karma goes out of the window. But if you allow desire to get hold of your system, then morning to night, birth to death, you are only chasing objects of desire. And you're rocketed, buffeted by your own likes and dislikes. That's a terrible state to be in. You're under the grip of desire. victimized by your own mind. So as your desires mount, there is tremendous pressure on you to earn enough to be able to match up with your desires. And then you're caught on a non-stop treadmill having to run faster and faster for what you yourself don't know. Till you crash, you fall and hurt yourself, you're out of the race. And as the desires mount and your resources are not able to catch up with the desires, then you cross the line. You cross the line and perform what is known as nishiddha karma. So nishiddha karma gets you to bankruptcy. Niyatam karma is where you're constantly earning and you have huge reserves. You build up your reserves. Kamya karma, you're spending faster than you can earn. Nishiddha karma, you're in a state of total bankruptcy. As a human being, you see people who've crossed the line. And all of us are crossing the line, somewhere down the line. The moment you cross the line, you're finished. So, how do you gain freedom from desire? And this is the most important thing. Today is the last day. We must go back home with something concrete. How do you gain freedom from desire? The pathway is so simple, so easy. Once you understand what it is, you wonder, why did I not follow this? The pathway is threefold. Karma yoga with the body, bhakti yoga with the mind, jnana yoga with the intellect. You know, when you say karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, all terms that you don't understand, you think it's difficult, and before you even learn what it is, you give it up. So today at 8:30 you'll go back and say, thank God, it's all over, now I can enjoy myself. Where do you go? Back to indulgence. Back to kamya karma. Back to nishiddha karma. What happened to niyatam karma? Gone. How do you deal with desires? God knows, somewhere in the 9th chapter something was said. So thank God it's all over now. So it's very simple. What is karma yoga? We're all acting. But as we act, whatever action it is that we perform, we find that it is self-limiting. You go up to a certain level and then you plateau off. You can't do anything more than that. Moreover, work itself has become drudgery, boring, monotonous. Take a look at people going to work every morning. Does anyone go looking happy and cheerful? Pulling long faces. In fact, by the time Sunday evening comes, you're already pulling a long face in anticipation of Monday morning. Karma yoga gives joy. So how do you do that? Instead of looking at, constantly, we're only looking at, okay, how do I benefit from this action? Every day you go to work saying, what's in it for me? How do I benefit? How do I fill my pockets? How do I come back better for it? That's the problem. That is self-limiting. That is what is boring. But you go to work and you set aside this obsession with yourself and pick up a higher ideal. And then somehow you break through the limitations that you yourself have. It could be a physical limitation, it could be an emotional limitation, it could be an intellectual hang-up that you have. Somehow you just break through it and come up with magnificent performance. You actually see it in the lives of people. You take your own life. Moments of excellence when you've had are the moments when you have completely lost sight of yourself. No thought of how is it going to benefit me. Whatever it is. It could be a cricket, it could be tennis, it could be business, it could be music, it could be art, it could be anything. That is where children excel. Children, when they do anything, see, it's not whether you perform that well or not that matters. It is that action is free from desire and ego. So when a child does anything, it may not be perfect, but it's so enchanting, so captivating, so endearing, because it is a pure action free from desire and ego. All your faculties come alive when you're dedicated yourself to something beyond you, and nature reciprocates in like manner. Nature returns a courtesy. You have to experiment with this to understand how it works. In Bombay, one of the most difficult things to find, you can earn a lot of money, but the most difficult thing to find is parking space. You may have 4 cars, but where are you going to keep it? Okay? So you drive, let's say your driver hasn't shown up, you drive your own car to some place, and if you're going for a personal, selfish end, you will not find parking. You will go around in circles, get frustrated, and come back home. But when you're going for an unselfish cause, try it next time. Exactly where you're going, the building you're going to, right outside that, 2 seconds before you arrive, a car will go. Try it on Monday. If it doesn't work, you can hang me. So it gives you success and it gives you so much happiness. You try it. It's a simple thing like organizing these lectures. If you were to give it to an event management company, first of all, it's going to cost the earth. Number 2, you will have an army of people. Half the hall will be filled with the event management people. This was done by the 3 of us. Not even 3. I didn't do anything. There were 2 people. Monkeys and squirrels. I don't mean to belittle them, but the dedication, their devotion, their commitment, every day they would work till late. I had to tell them, say, aren't you girls going home? Your parents will think I'm holding you captive. And all of us, yes, we worked hard, but we enjoyed it. It gave us great happiness. And for that period, you don't think of shopping, you don't think of going and buying gold, you don't think of sightseeing, you don't think of vacationing, because you're so preoccupied, your thoughts are so focused on the higher, and you're so satisfied that you're not looking at anything else. Then comes bhakti. When you see, karma yoga reduces the quantity of desires, bhakti improves the quality of the desires. So what happens with bhakti is, go back to your own experience. When you love an individual so much, that every little thing reminds you, like a mother with a child, when the child goes to school, every little thing in the house reminds her of the child. A little scribbled piece of paper lying somewhere, a toy lying somewhere else, a towel lying on the floor, messed up room maybe, but every little piece that's lying there reminds the mother of her daughter, and instead of complaining about the mess that the daughter has made, she is in revelry thinking of, because that's a reminder of her daughter whom she loves so much. Now, come back to life. You look around you and you have to awaken yourself to see the beauty and grandeur in the world, the magnificence, the abundance that is splashed everywhere. You see the sun rise, the sun set, you see vegetation, and every little piece that has, every single vegetable that's created is just right, whether it's a fruit, a mango for instance. What a divine fruit. What a fantastic mix of color, texture, taste, flavor. If even one of these things had gone astray, you wouldn't be able to eat that mango. Vegetables, wholesome, life-giving, nutritious. Who created it? Who designed it? You go to an artist and ask them to design one simple thing like an invitation card. They take 10 times they have to give you a sample, 10 times you correct it and give it back. What do you think of that divine power, divine or otherwise? What do you think of the power that has created this entire universe? Every single thing, big or small, designed to perfection. And then you're filled with gratitude, and every single thing that you experience in life becomes a loving reminder of that power. Desires reduce because then you're focused on just